Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition, and we're going to talk about a unique adventure hook, which is what happens when the player characters win at the wrong time. Okay, and this is a fascinating adventure hook that I'm putting forward for a couple reasons. One, I think your players are not going to see this coming, and the reason why is the genesis of it. Okay, so I'm a huge politics fan, and now I will say, right now, what's happening in American politics, it's kind of a spectator sport for me. When the election times come up, I get pretty engaged, and I'm very interested in American politics. But it's really a spectator sport for me right now because we have this President Joe Biden who I don't think is capable of really accomplishing anything real. And so he's just kind of a placeholder president. I still pay attention to it, but right now, the best Joe Biden can do for my life, it looks like, is provide good Dungeons and Dragons adventure hooks. Thank you, Joe Biden. All right, so this comes straight from lessons learned from Joe Biden's presidency. It's really quite interesting. So here we go. All right. The other reason why I'm putting this forward, and I'm encouraging you to look at American politics for Dungeons and Dragons adventure hooks, is your players are never gonna see it coming. Your Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition players are never going to see this coming. And the reason why is the vast majority of people really detest politics. They're like, they don't want to get involved at all. Most people, you have to drag them to the polls. I'm not even sure if most Americans even vote. They might vote at like a huge, I think it's at least 2 out of 5 people don't bother voting most of the time, either in locals or in government. You have to drag people to politics, right? So politics is a great source for Dungeons and Dragons adventure hooks because your player characters aren't going to be looking like, if you map, I'm going to explain to you how to map Joe Biden's current situation to be an exciting adventure hook for your Dungeons and Dragons. And you can do the same thing with lots of political situations because your players are highly unlikely to be looking, right, for these sources, right? So it's kind of a really unique place to find good Dungeons and Dragons adventure hooks. All right, so let's talk about winning at the wrong time. All right, so Joe Biden, I'm convinced, won the presidential election at the wrong, honestly, in my opinion, Joe Biden should never have been president, ever, right? And the reason why is he had an opportunity to be a great president in 2016 when literally the whole country was like, hey, pick up the ball and do what we need you to do because, you can just carry the dynasty of Obama forward, right, in 2016. And Joe Biden was like, nope, not interested, right? And so he sat by and he let Donald Trump win, right? And which people were like, whoa. and then he comes back, he's like, oh my gosh, I failed you, America. I need to fix this and make sure Donald Trump is not president. And I will say, that's no small accomplishment, right? Like, it is a big deal. I definitely think it's a good thing that Donald Trump is no longer our president. And so that's one achievement that Joe Biden accomplished, right? And it was actually the only thing he even promised to accomplish, I think, really. Oh, wait, no, that's not true. He actually promised to cure cancer during his administration. Not a joke. That actually happens for realsies. Go check it out. It's astounding that anybody would promise that, but he did. So if cancer is not cured before 2024, Joe Biden broke a campaign promise. I'm like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Right? So it's like, he can't make this stuff up. He literally did promise to cure cancer before. It's incredible that he would do that. But sorry, stay in focus here. All right, so Joe Biden wins the presidency, and he's like, check, I made it so that Donald Trump isn't president. Thumbs up, Joe. We did need that done, right? But the problem is, the U.S. president, right, has got a lot more on his checklist than making sure one dude isn't president, right? They actually have to accomplish stuff. And people in America are furious. Right now, in November, our national election was like 2 days ago. And it was like, the entire November 2nd sweep was like, we are furious that the Democrats are in power, actually have the Senate and the House. They have control and still cannot pass any meaningful legislation. Are abandoning promises on climate change, are abandoning promises on a social safety net, and really don't look like they can do anything big, right? And and have not solved virtually any of the problems of March 2020, right? Which is the number one thing on people's minds, right? So people feel no less safe. They feel, and so where they feel less safe. They feel like nothing's been delivered. They feel like they gave their votes to a person who squandered it, and also people are like, the situation with Joe Biden's presidency is so bad that people are like, you're not a bad president. We're questioning if the Democrat Party is even useful anymore, right? It is catastrophic, right? Like just horrific. It's really bad, right? So why is Joe Biden stuck here? Well, he won at the wrong time, right? So there's this scalding, burning, hot ball of lava, right? It's called the 2020 March event, right? It made everybody mask up. It transformed every person on the planet's lives, and us in America very, very distinctly, right? And basically, Donald Trump was playing hot potato with this thing for the last few months of his presidency, but Joe Biden inherited it, and essentially Donald Trump was like, hey, here's this burning ball of lava that's as big as a basketball. Here you go, Joe, and just threw it to him, right? And Joe Biden caught it, and his hands are burning off. Like he doesn't know what to do with it. Like there's so many problems. There's climate change. There's the March 2020 situation. Inflation is growing like crazy, and he's failing at like every single level, right? So he just and the thing is, like, we needed a real president, and he's like, I can do one thing. I can make sure that this guy is president. That'd be nice if that was all that matters, but that's not all that matters. It's like, this is a real job. This isn't like something you do as a hobby, right? And just so you're aware, Biden's coming up on 80 years old, right? And you're kind of like, should anybody have a really serious job at 80 years old? The whole country is saying that when you're 66, they'll give you a check to sit, like they'll give you a check literally every month to sit on your porch and like drink lemonade and watch your grandkids play with your Labrador Retriever, right? Your golden retriever, right? Like, so Joe Biden won at the wrong time, right? So how do we pull this into player characters winning at the wrong time and have a nice, solid adventure hook in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition? Here you go. All right. Player characters encounter a green dragon, okay? Green dragon's in the middle of the Neverwinter woods, okay? So they go in and they deal with this green dragon in the Neverwinter woods, and they slay it, okay? Now, actually, it's going to be a young green. I would make it a young green dragon, not even an adult. That way you could put it at the 4 to 8, level 4 to level 8, right? So they kill a green dragon. They're heralded as the heroes. They go down to Phandalin, right? And there's everybody buys them rounds. They go up to Neverwinter. Everybody rides them rounds. They're heroes, right? Well, they went to Phandalin, then they go to Neverwinter, then they go back to Phandalin, right, to pick up some goods. They're gonna escort a caravan, right? And what happens? Oh my! Phandalin's destroyed. Why is Phandalin destroyed? Well, first of all, there's a mystery, right? And there's an entire session where you just let them, discover the mystery of why Phandalin is destroyed. You know why Phandalin is destroyed? Because underneath Phandalin and Neverwinter and the Neverwinter region, there was a nest of 100 boulets, right? There was a network of nests that contained 100 boulets, right? And guess what? These boulets, they would come up and they would eat a woodcutter every now and then, but they didn't have the audacity to destroy an entire town, and they were very scared because a young green dragon would swoop down, pick them up, turn them over, open them up like a can and just eat them, right? But now the player characters have destroyed what controlled the 100 boulets that live under Phandalin and under Neverwinter. They won at the wrong time. They killed something that everybody didn't know was desperately needed, right? Oh my, right? Like, like, and there you go. That's your story, right? It's like you let them win, they get a victory, right? And everybody's like, woo, we're Dragon Slayers. And then you're like, actually, you're responsible for the destruction of Phandalin and maybe Neverwinter soon. That's a good story hook. It's genuine, it's unique, it's exciting and new, it's fresh. None of your players are going to know where it came from, right? But you got it right here. Jay's got Garibay, giving you content nobody else is giving you. I guarantee you that. All that's my opinion. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this adventure hook. Do you have an adventure hook? What are some unusual sources that you use to get Dungeons & Dragons adventure hooks? I'd love to hear. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.